I'm so happy you are here. I am, really.
We're happy to be here.
Woohoo!
Zambia Lusaka. Yeah, we're very happy.
Good. Very happy, good.
Zambia
To the world.
the world, yeah.
Yes. Yes. And I'm very happy because I'm, well, as you know, my name is Judith. I hope you know. Well, otherwise you know it now. Some people call me Judy, but full name is Judith. I am, what age do you think I am?
34.
How much?
34.
34. Just guess. Just say, speak up.
45.
45.
42.
42.
40.
40.
45.
45.
No, 50.
Huh?
50.
50. 32? 52. One more? 49. Well, some of you, hi, welcome. Some of you are okay with this, but nobody guessed. So I'm 54. In the pocket! Yeah. Yeah, turning 55 in 1 month. So I think I did pretty well. I think I know some things about life, and that's showing up in my age, or my non-age. So I would like the world to know, because I don't know about your life, but when I don't even know how old you are, but when I was a youngster, let me say it like that, trying to live life fully, because hey, I thought I'm here anyway, so let's go for it anyway. I just never felt at home. I looked around and I thought, what are they doing here? They're running around, pretending or really being busy. I wasn't sure, but I didn't get it. I just looked and I thought, well, where's home? Where can I feel at home? Where can I feel welcome, loved, appreciated, seen, and respected? Because in my world, age has nothing to do with respect. But that's my world. I don't know about your world. So, but I did know that I never felt at home. I was always looking for life. You know, where the sparkle is, where things move, where there's fun and excitement. So I kept on moving and looking in every corner. Tried everything that came on my path and decided to move on. To not stick there and settle for less, but really kept on moving. And that took me to Zambia 15 years ago, first time. And that's when I met that guy. He stayed around in my class, as it was back then, for a whole week. We spent 5 days together and we stayed in contact since then. So that is a bit of my introduction to you. But when I was 6 years old, and this is a true story. So that is 49 years ago, 48. We had television at home. It was a black and white, small one. It just arrived when I was 6 years old. And they made some movies and they showed it to us. And in the movie it was shown the children in Africa. And of course you know, because you are the children of Africa. But what was shown to me when I was 6 years old was children with no food. And of course I know it's still happening. And it makes me really sad. But it was shown to me as a child of 6. And my papa and mama told me every day I had to finish my plate. So they put food on there. Probably it happens to you the same. I hope it happens the same. It was put on there and I had to finish. I had to eat all. I could never leave like a bite because of the children in Africa. Because I had to eat and finish my plate because the children in Africa did not have food. So the same that was shown in this movie happened in our dinner table. And it made me aware, of course, that not all children have food. I didn't understand. How can it be that there are children, even, especially today, it is not to understand how this can happen. But as we know, it's not to one person to feed all mouth. I cannot. I can only share what I have and what I know. So can you. And I'm sure you will. You are doing it. Because it's no life to become better yourself and to see others have less. That's just not right. But it happens. If you look into this world, even in Zambia, it happens that there are people who have a lot and people who have nothing. So how can that be? That's not fair. And you know what it feels like to have either nothing or to have more. So we all know. Me too. I know it as well. Due to circumstances that showed up in my life. So I asked a lot of questions at him, and I'm not saying his name because of the recording, okay? But I asked a lot of questions in the past few days about what was told to you, and I'm really curious to hear your story about the white people, because I notice that I look at you as being a human. I'm a human, you are human. We are equal. But I notice that people are looking at me here in Zambia in a different way. So I can feel something that's not right. So I feel the assumptions and I feel judgments or whatever is going on. I can feel all that. So what are you being told? Every white is rich? That's what he said. Not true. Not true. Not at all true. No. Maybe the 1%. Like here. It's the same. What else? That what I heard last time, 15 years ago, was that we are arrogant and trying to teach you something. Yeah. I'm not trying to teach you something. I just, so let us bring us that out of, let us take it out of the way. Because, you know, I'm not a teacher. I'm not. I'm just sharing my life. And I'm asking you to share yours. That's all I ask. Because, whew, so I feel the energy moving when I say it. Maybe you feel it as well. So that's why I'm pointing it out. Something is moving when I do this. Okay? I'm sane. I went to a doctor. They approved me good. I'm right. This is just energy moving, nothing else. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So you know the difference between energy that's moving? That's because I do it, sorry. You can try, but this is because I do it. That's the difference between energy moving or the feeling of emotions. That's also feeling, but this is energy. You can feel what happens, like that your attention is here, right? Or you feel your body being held up straight. Yeah. Anything else that you notice with this energy thing? The focus is on one point, yes. So it doesn't matter the noise, la la la, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Everything just drowns out.
Yes.
Or just present.
Yes. Yes. What was I saying?
So the question about the whites.
Yes.
What have you been told?
Yes.
when you
So I'm
were
not
young?
teaching you anything.
Oh.
Okay? I'm only sharing my discoveries, my life. If you're interested, I hope maybe I can inspire. But it is up to you what you take from today into your life. Okay? There was one, oh yeah, so arrogance and trying to teach you something. Anything else about the, sorry, white people?
Colonization.
Colorization?
Colonization.
Yeah, colonization. What does it mean to you? Colonize. What does it mean? It's not a word that we use a lot, so please explain.
I don't know how to explain it. The white people took us as slaves, took
Yeah.
over, took stuff from us.
Yes.
What?
Speak a little louder.
Always want is for the benefit of them. Like white people want black people for the benefit, just to use us, and it's just to throw us away when we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've heard that they've seen something in us that we don't see in ourselves. Okay? Or they've seen resources that are in our country that we failed to use, or to make something better out of it. So they've said, these guys, they're not sharp enough. So let's just go, use what they have, and then go. That's how
That's also colonization. Okay. It's really important to be, wherever I am, that we are in equality. Nobody's better, nobody knows, because if somebody knows, we would not be in this shit. Okay? And I'm really serious about this. So nobody knows, okay? Except us inside, very deep inside, we know something is not correct. Okay?
I think, for lack of a better term, I think being whites, they're racist. Like, not wanting or liking the black color. When they see someone who's black, they think like probably it's an animal, or someone is not a human being. Like, who is this person? Like, kind of that stuff. I think when I was growing up, I think I've had that encounter. Just learning how white people hate black people
Yeah.
because of their color. That kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's terrible. Yeah.
Talking about the part you talked about the TV and stuff, like showing you stuff like the movie. So being taught that you guys are like you own everything, something like that. They'll show us like you're rich, you got everything. Then us who have that mind of like, okay, we can afford that. Like, we are reduced to a certain level. Yeah,
We're just
like in our
inferior.
thinking and things.
So
I'm
like,
sorry.
So like to add on what you said, right? So from a young age, we've always had that thing of whites are more superior to us. Yeah, that's like I feel like one of the biggest things. So it's a thing where I said how people look at you differently. So it's a thing we're exposed to something over like these are better than us. So to some extent people treat you with high regard. Even now when you go to certain places, say white person and black person, you enter the same place, it's like I'm not even there.
Yeah.
There's always that superiority that comes with white people.
Yeah.
I think, talking about the aspect of superior, whites being superior over the blacks.
Yeah.
So I believe society has created this perception because whites are superior over the blacks, and we have the perception that they are rich. Now society, even just right now in Zambia, we have that perception to say, if I go and search for work outside in Europe, I will have a better life there.
Or if I marry a white person.
Yes. Or if I marry a white person, I will have a better life. Because I've seen it even with my close relatives, where they will seek job opportunities outside, and because they make a certain amount of money and say, oh, I think now life is going out great. An example, I say, so there's this human being, he goes out into Europe, goes to work as a caretaker. Because he's making $100 a week, I'm okay. I can be constantly sending money over a certain period of time. So I believe because of that superiority, that's created that perception that there's a better life outside Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah, in
There is a better life outside. Money-wise.
No, it's not true.
No,
It's not true. It's not true.
Of course.
Really. In Holland right now, there's, maybe you know the percentage. Last numbers I heard was like 10% has not enough money to feed themselves. So I want you to know this. There's something else going on. It has nothing to do with color. But we are programmed as if it has something to do with color. So that you know, because if you tell, I just need to say black, okay? So I'm not meaning anything about it, I'm just speaking clearly, okay? So we all know what we mean. So, the black people are programmed that you are not right and that the white people are better. That is the program. So if you live in a world where we are living, or trying to live, where that is being said, as a black person, it is really difficult to start believing in yourself. Because if there is a world that is apparently not believing in you, if you take those thoughts seriously, the question is if you do that. But if you do, and you start believing that, how can you ever create the life you love? You know, that's very difficult. So somebody or something is making that up. Not you, not me. And I know by just asking my friends, and I have a huge network, you know, did you ever give money to Africa? Did you ever donate to have the children have water and food? And everybody did. Everybody did. Because of course, if you have it, you share. Of course. So the people around me, they have donated. So I can say that many people in Holland, at least, shared money with Africa. But who did they give it to? How much of that amount came straight into your doorstep? You know, who benefited from all those billions of donations? Somebody did. Somebody did, not you. not us. But they are putting things in between us, making us not equal, but we are. We are. My life has not been easy. Not at all. Not at all. So, dreaming about a life living as a white person, I would nobody recommend that. Not my recommendation. It is less safe. I've been threatened to death at least 10 times. That is not a joke. Okay? So, shit happens everywhere. There's no paradise. Well, there is paradise, but it's not in our sight. So, the thought of marrying a white guy or whatever, or moving from here to Europe, is something that takes you away from where you are at this moment. Because where you are at this moment is now. We are here now. And all we have as a human is now. That's all we have. Yeah. We never know if there's a later. We can only feel, be true to ourselves in the now. Every plan that we make in the future is taking us away from the now. Because if I make a plan, whatever the plan is, it will keep me busy in my mind while I'm trying to live in the now. And that is taking me away from the now. While in the now, like we are here now, we can connect, we can laugh, we can make jokes, we can dance. And that's the only thing that counts. To have the experience of being loved, being seen, being appreciated, all those things I started off with. So there's a diamond in this now moment. And that is why I asked your attention and your focus, which you are giving and sharing with us all. And when we do that, magic will happen. It does. Feel. I know many of you can feel very well. In my country, everybody is in their phone. Not living life. They're obsessed. Believing that this is contact. It's not. It's a mind fuck. It's one big mind game. This phone. It's quite handy. It's quite handy. But it's not life.
I have a question.
Please.
So you talked about, say, giving of aid to Africa, right? And you posed the question to say how much of that aid has actually reached the people in Africa, like the actual people who are in need of that. I don't know if I can call this an answer, or maybe, okay, I don't know how everyone will take it. So this is how I view the whole question to say how much of it actually reaches. I believe it's a role that both the giver of that aid and the person receiving it, they both have to play a role in this. Because if I give my aid to this particular person, knowing that that person has to take it to someone, I have to make sure to say it reaches that person. So the big question is, what exactly, or maybe what work have you put in to ensure that the aid that you give out reaches the actual people in need? Because one thing that we know for sure is that most of the times whenever we receive aid, the people that get the aid are the same people who are rich. They already have it.
Yeah.
It's like just a bonus on top.
Yeah.
Because
I see it.
yeah, because like from what I've observed is that once you give aid, or we've given aid, then it ends there.
Yeah.
Maybe the checkups can be like after 3 months. I mean, you can easily come up with funny figures and say, oh, we gave the aid to this, but actual ground proof, literally nothing. So I think that's what the problem is.
Just to say something, the people who actually get that aid are not already rich. They get rich with the aid. I actually know like about 3 people who opened up companies and they say don't want to be helping people getting money from the diaspora, and then will be helping. They take pictures of these children who seem to be suffering according to them. When the money comes, they build houses. And the houses are so amazing. And I'm like, why would you do that? But then there's no follow-up from the funders to say, okay, where is this money going? Because in all honesty, looking at how much has been pumped to help the vulnerable, I think there should be something different by now, because there's a lot of money that goes in there. Even I can just start a company and say I want to help people. And I'll buy 4 houses from the money that I'll get from there. But no one wants to do a follow-up, and no one actually cares to help those people in need.
That's how it shows up. I don't think that's true, but at least that's how it shows, yeah. As in Africa, of course in Holland, people believed that the government was on their side, because it's very difficult to start believing that that's not true, or to even have the option that's not true. So when this started 50 years ago with donating money, we didn't donate it to a governmental bank account. You know, that's all we knew. It was the first time money was collected for Africa. So we donated and we believed we did a good thing. And as soon as people started to check, I know somebody, I've translated a book on this for somebody into English, because she opened this up actually. She looked into it, you know, what happened to the money and how is everybody involved, how high is the salary that the people who are working in this community or NGO, how high is it? Oh, that is a ridiculous amount. So, you know, things like that started to open up. And then we noticed, or I noticed, that there was a transition made, give straight to the small NGOs, and later the ones that you can find on the internet. So first time I did something on my own was for Dominican Republic. I think it's about 20 years ago. I went to see a foster care home, and I decided 2 weeks before, and I collected 3,000 euros, and I took it and I planted trees. You know, so it was me doing it for the people that donated money. So that is a more sustainable help, you know. But it is difficult to ask people being honest or in integrity. Apparently it is difficult because life is difficult. So, and when life is difficult, you know, you see it every day, that people stay away from truth because they are afraid, they don't speak up, they want you to believe something else. But that is because life is so difficult. That's what happens when life is difficult. So now in Holland, when life is getting more and more difficult for people. You see that things are getting stolen more, also from shops, like the expensive things like coffee and tea. It just happens. So, because all we have is now, we can only make sure we better than now, and do not blame for things that happened. Because in my world, I believe everybody's doing their best with the problems that they have. They are doing their best. I cannot decide otherwise, because I don't know about your life or that person's life. I don't know. It's not up to me to judge somebody. I can only look at myself, see how I move, see how honest I am, see what my behavior is, and looking at others and judge them, that is taking myself away from me. You know, because then I spend time on them. So it is, yes, if we want to move forward, it is important to go from there and to let the past be the past. Hi. Welcome. Yeah. You see, I understand your question. I cannot answer. I don't have that information. I only can say what I do. Yeah, how I live life.
I think, okay, based off your explanation, I feel to some extent I feel like if most NGOs were hands-on, as to the best example that you're given, to say you had to go to Dominican Republic to go and single-handedly plant trees after receiving the same aid. I feel if most donors could maybe say send representatives, or maybe even them themselves say, okay, this group of people go and make sure that, oh, this is actually happening. I feel, as she said, it would have been a whole different situation, because now due to the fact that we can communicate online, we can make transfers online. I mean, I can do a random video call and whatnot. There are so many ways in which you can manipulate that and say, oh, I'm actually done this.
Yeah.
So I feel like hands-on, a group of delegates, maybe this donor, they come here. It would have been a better, I think life can be better for the people in need.
Yes. But what if I say, oh no, I have to say something else first. So I started to discover life by erasing everything that was taught to me. That was my first step. I erased everything. Whatever somebody told me, I just erased. Because it was somebody telling me, and I wanted to discover life myself. So I erased everything that was taught to me at school. Everything. Because, I will give you an example. And I gave the same to you. So, if you are told, and I know many of you, maybe all, are told that God created the world, and you take that as truth, then you stop looking. Then you take that as truth, and you can, what if that is not true? can you then ever see it? If in your mind you've taken that as truth. I mean, I'm now asking God to be the example, but something that is told to you as being truthful, you take it on as truth and you stop searching. So that's why I had to erase everything, to open my mind and to see for myself. Okay? So I did. I erased it all. And I just noticed during my life, some things were interesting, they were appealing, they were calling me, and some things were not. So that says something. That is not, when something was not calling me, I took that very serious. There's no need for me to go there, into that direction. And the things that were calling me, I took that also very serious. I looked more into that. Okay? So that's how I started to move a couple of years ago. And then everything that I saw and discovered, I took very serious. So that's how I started to see that the money that we donated never reached Africa. Or maybe 1%, you know. Or when I see here the second-hand clothes in shops, they have been sold twice while they were given by us to the shipping containers to move them here. And then they're sold and sold again to you. We donated them to give them free to you. See, so people are making businesses out of things that are not part of business. Because something in this system is making money first priority. Something in this system. But I remember, I think Nadina as well, that we donated money by people who started to make the water wells by hand. They asked for some donations, they went to Africa, and they drilled the water wells by hand, by themselves. Maybe you know from stories for your papa, mama, I don't know. But that's what happened. And then Nestle came, Coca-Cola, and they started to own the water wells. And now you pay 10 kwacha every month, or 15, to have water. How can that be? You know? So, yeah. Well, I know how it can be. I see you know too. But that's insane. So something is making money more important than the health of you guys. Something is. Because I know one thing for sure. I know that God not meant it to be like this. I am 100% sure. God does not exclude. Never. He never puts himself above you. Never. That is not possible. He is a friend. Friends do not put themselves above you. Whatever anybody told you, that's not very godly. So there's something going on to disturb us from who we really are. Yeah. So, what do you want to share with me? What is the most challenging thing in your life? What is the most challenging thing?
So for me personally, I feel like it's based on the whole aspect of the person say he wants to become or the person who you're supposed to be. Because with society, so many stereotypes about being a man or how a man should be.
Yes.
It's like from a young age you're molded into something. And most people live with it through their entire lives, others live apart. But then, because like you said something about a point of where you sort of started searching for meaning in life. I feel like that's one of the challenging things of how do you sort of start searching for meaning and, I don't know, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Struggle for identity, you say. Yeah.
Can I respond? Yeah. So there are two versions to live life, two perceptions. The one perception is that you are here to learn. The other perception is that you are here to bring. That you carry that wisdom inside. That you are whole and complete from the day on you were born. So in the first version, as if you were here to learn, it seems that there's something missing in that perspective, in you. That's how it shows up. And that's when people started to tell you how to behave, how to do, how to become, how to grow, how to change. But what if all of that is not true, is not the real reason why you are here? Because if it was the reason, then where are we moving to? What if that was the reason, that you are here to grow? To what? Into what? Where to? To become a better person? To make it easier for everybody around you? To create a family? To what? Do you think God is wasting your time to grow into something? Of course not. If He has created all of us, then you were whole and complete when you arrived. He is smart. He knows His ways. And even if He did not create, life itself is very smart. Have you ever seen a flower being incomplete, coming up from the soil? Oh, my leaves are not as green as from the neighbor. Oh, my color. They don't like my color. I'm different. No. Every flower on its own is beautiful and complete and whole. And is living purpose. Whatever the purpose is. Whatever the purpose is. So the flower was born like all of us, and I'm 100% sure after all my investigation, but you can do your own. We are whole and complete. We have nothing to learn. But, yeah.
Sorry.
No.
But then if we're whole and complete, because now I'm not thinking of the thing of you're gifted with something, right? But then if you do not like nurture it or groom it into a certain direction, you sort of go away from it. It's like every craft. For you to become perfect at it or good at it, you have to practice.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Ah,
Sorry.
saved by the bell. Nice ringtone. I promised we would laugh. What?
The statement that you made.
Yeah, shall we wait for him? Oh, he's ready. Yeah.
Oh, you rephrased the statement. Was it a question?
So he stated something about a whole, but for me the whole.
Yes.
But, yes. Yeah, whole and complete, right?
Yes.
And then it's like, what was the particular purpose? But then I feel, because we just, to some extent, when we all just become too relaxed or reluctant with the whole aspect of I'm whole and complete, and I don't really have to do anything.
Aha.
I
Yeah.
just like sit and know stuff will go my way. But
Ah, okay. Ah, okay. No, that's not what I mean. Yeah, thank you for that. So that, because there's one other important thing in this, and so if I was born whole and complete, there must be a reason for it, because then I am a bringer of something. And then there is a path, a certain path for me, so that I can share whatever I bring. But I need to find and be honest and stay true to my own path. That is actually what we have to do. Because as soon as we get distracted from the path, from your path, it will get messy and confusing, and people will start saying that you're not whole and complete, and that you need to learn, and that you need to behave. You know, that's what happens then. So you can say it is a practice. I said maybe. But to me, this reality is a reality made on energy. But because we decided, we agreed on that this is glass, and that we cannot move through glass, we won't move through glass. I gave the example the other day about walls. Maybe that's more clear, because this you can see through glass. So a wall is, we agreed on that we cannot move through walls. But what if we starting to believe that we can, that we actually can? What will happen? I mean, if there's an illness and the doctor says, in the Netherlands it's very common, they say you are ill, you have only a couple of months, la la la, and then this person turns healthy again. It happens. So they don't move with that script the doctor told them. They did not agree. They created a new script of healthy. So it's getting a bit more complicated now, because what we agreed on, like the wall, who says that's true, that we cannot move through walls? That we actually cannot. But because we believe we cannot, we are not doing it. Because we stop our search there. But if I share with you, and I also know that Nadine does the same, or has the same, that I can see the layers of this, what we call reality. I can see how it is built. Through my eyes, it looks probably different than through your eyes, or maybe her eyes and your eyes are also different. Because we cannot tell what we see. But we assume that we all see the same. But you know from the struggles in your life, every discussion that you have with somebody, that we don't see the same. But we start to discuss like, yeah, but it's green. No, it's not green, it's blue. No, it's red, actually it's yellow. You know, about a certain fact, as we call it. Can you follow what I'm saying? So, but when we assume something is true and a fact, we stop looking. And that's actually what we have to do. To continue on our path, whatever the path is, and stay true to yourself. If you know that something is wrong, then move away from that and live life the way you know is true. And this might sound easy, and it might take you a couple of years, you know, to practice, to feel, okay, this is not my path. Okay, that's her path. That is a projection of my mama who wants me to be to college because she couldn't, so that's why she's telling me I have to. It happens. Her story. Cannot change it. Don't live it. Her story. Don't live it. You have your own story. Even though we want Mama to be happy. That's not up to us. That's up to her. I want everybody to be happy, but it's not up to us to make anybody else happy. It's really up to them. And that's not being selfish. It's totally different. Because when I started to live my truth, I wanted nobody to pay for that. Because I care about life, I care about the ones I love, I care about humanity. I would never have somebody pay for my choices. Do you understand? I'm not talking about real payment, but I don't want them to struggle because I make a choice. You know? That's what I mean. But I have to live life my way. Can you feel what happens when I say that? Can you feel the energy opening up? Maybe not everybody can feel it, but you know, that's what, when truth has been spoken, you can feel truth, because truth holds a certain energy that you cannot make up with the mind. And that is why school is so exhausting. The truth is so exhausting. School is so exhausting because truth is not being spoken. But continue, finish your school. Don't tell anybody I told you. You can feel it, yeah. Yeah.
So,
Please.
okay, I believe over you talked about the aspect of us openly searching more, like to figure out ourselves, right?
Yeah.
I believe, I think most of you can agree with me that we have all tried to take that step to actually figure out what exactly we want to do. And I feel we are not the problem, but the problem is, or even now, I think it goes back to our parents. So here's the thing. We cannot agree to the fact that we have free will, we can make our own decisions. But the fact that, because I live in my parents' house, they feed me, and they clothe me, they give me money. If I go to them and say, oh mom, I feel this is like my driving force, like I feel good when I'm doing this. But because it's not in line with what society has placed to say, oh, You need to become a doctor to be successful. You need to become a pilot to be successful. It's irrelevant. It is useless. Because I've come across so many situations where I have a friend who has said, okay, you know what, I don't want school. Like, I want to be trading forex. I know a certain guy. And his parents only got to believe when he was actually now giving them money, buying them things like, oh, it's now paid off. So now how do we bridge that gap, or maybe this whole perception that, because facts that our parents are traditional, and I believe they are rigid.
But they, I don't know your parents, so I won't judge them. I will never judge people.
Maybe you can
Just
just say
a-
something concerning what you said.
Do you know his parents?
It would be a general response.
Oh, yeah.
Because to some extent anyway, yes, I can say maybe parents are to blame, but looking at the setup in Zambia, they say parents have foresight. It's what they don't want is you to suffer
Yeah.
in the near future, and it comes back to it. I wish I did what my parents wanted. Mostly I've noticed you can do what they want you to do, then after you can go pursue what it is you want. Sometimes life gets really hard. Imagine you tell them, oh, I want to trade forex, as you said, and then it doesn't work out. It's a 50-50 thing. So sometimes it's also for our own good. It's not that our parents are rigid or something, but they are obviously seeing something that we ourselves can't see. It's not everyone that's going to make it when they decide I want to drop out of school and do something. Others tend to suffer. Others are just in the streets doing nothing because they didn't want to go to school. And they felt, no, I can still make it without school.
Yes.
But I still feel, even in that, they do it with love.
Yes.
So it's just,
Yeah.
they totally have no.
But I will, yeah, you can, but let me respond first. Let me say this, it's not your parents. It has nothing to do with your, can you take it off so I can see your face? It has nothing to do with your parents, it has to do with the system. It's the system. And your parents are trying to do the best they can, of course. And they are doing what they are told. Also what they have experienced as a little child, everything that it comes from there. So of course they have the best intentions, of course. And what they know and what they see as being truth is different than what you can see, because the younger you are, the more you can see. Because there's less put over you to keep truth away. You understand? So that is why it is so important to be in equality also with you guys. I know quite some things, but I also know how to move into a world that is inspiring to everybody. But that doesn't mean that I'm better than you, I just have a different task. I'm just saying this for the two that just arrived. So, it's the system. It's the system. We spoke about this morning. Like there's this pyramid system. There's this boss that is telling all the others what to do. The boss can be in a business, it can be in a hospital, it can be in a school, it can be a church even. But when somebody is sitting here on this chair, all the others are trying to live up these standards, but they forget to tune in with themselves. They forget to ask themselves, is this right for me? Because they are hired or they are paid by this person, so that's why they they believe that it's a good thing to live up to these standards. Understand? So, but all these people that are in this pyramid, in this prison, I call it, they lose more and more of themselves. They lose more and more of the spark of life. While the spark of life should be the one thing that is the most important in life. Because the spark of life evokes the urgency to be here on this planet. That's the only thing that is really inspiring. So this system, where we are in this prison, is withholding us, keeps us away from who we really are. It is set up for you to follow instead of to lead your life. Understand? So this is something that I can only, that I cannot make the biggest change for you guys. I can only let you see this, and also how important it is to be in equality. And I notice, and I hear you, that the person that is feeding you and that is giving your money has the power over you, actually, has influence on you, on how you behave. So as long as that is the case, you can do that, but be aware. If you put awareness into that behavior that you do because of your parents, that's also very powerful. You do it, but knowing that there's another possibility. And it took me 36 years actually to tell my dad that I no longer wanted to follow. So when I was 36 years of age, which is, as you know, almost 20 years ago, I did something that I called a completion. I went into a car and I sat with the steering wheel, so I had this chair next to, oh sorry, in Holland it's different. So I had this chair next to me, like you, and I just said everything imaginary that he was sitting here. He was not, but I was imagining. So I got angry because of all the stupid things he did and the things that I didn't like. And I still respect him up until the day, even he's not here anymore. But I love him very much, you know. So, and he did his best. He didn't know what was good for me. He tried to take care of me, doing the best thing that he was able to see and he was able to know. So I said it all out and I told him what was difficult for me in my life up until that day. And then I felt like, okay, so now I've said it all. Now I can be in the now with you because all the memories, they were neutralized. I had nothing to blame him for. I could take my own life. I could live it. And the one thing I did make the biggest difference is that I invited him over for coffee. And we went to the pancake house, as we have in Holland. And we were on the terrace. And I told him, you know, Papa, from now on, I have to live my own life. Because I'm not here to make you happy. I'm here to make me happy. So I love you very much, but I have to do this. And you know, what I thought, what I made up, that how he would respond, because of course my mind was going like, oh God, he will do this, he will slap me in the face, and oh. But you know what he did? I could not have imagined that he did this. What he did was, heh, finally. See, I made it a very complex story. I would never have thought that would be the response. but it was also a burden from his shoulders because I wanted to live my life the way I knew. And I believe people have children and they want to see their children happy. There's no other reason. So, that turned out to be a total different story. Yeah.
So, culture also does play a part,
Yes.
particularly this part of the world.
Yes. Oh, also in Europe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What they explained is true in this part of the world.
Yeah.
We really give respect to our parents because in the first place we would not have been here if it wasn't for them. I know I've got a friend and they have three children. So the parents were on them, you
Yeah.
know, on them, especially the last one, just because the wife is a doctor and they really wanted the girl also to just follow through, which she did. She managed, graduated, and after she did that, she came and gave them the paper.
Yeah.
Mom and Dad wanted me to become.
Yeah.
I have managed. Now, would you please leave me? I want to live my life. That's what she did. Now, is that not too much of wasting time to, doctorate? It goes for 6, 7 years?
Yeah.
6 years now. Church of sorry. We're not supposed to call names. How many years? How many years? 6 years. 6 years. Yes, 6 years. Is that not a waste of time? Shouldn't be there a line between, that the parents can go this far and then they let you go on there. It's different maybe from the Western world.
I don't think so. Well, she's a parent. I don't think her children are 17 and 15. So they are trying. Yeah.
Very hard.
Very hard. But
So are you on them?
Sometimes too much, but there is the space to they give that back to me.
speak up a bit.
There is space for my children to say to me that I'm too much
On
them.
top. You're
Yeah.
too much on top of them.
And my daughter is very smart and she can
Mirror me.
mirror me what I'm doing. I haven't been a parent earlier, so I don't know. I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But you're only trying.
I'm just trying to make so they get a beautiful life, but it's not only it's for them.
Yeah, now you know.
Now I know.
Yeah.
Just sort of to add on. So initially how it was supposed to be. So there's this stage in life, or let me say, I don't know if in most countries it's called 12th grade. When you reach that point, when they say, oh, what do you want to become upon going to university? So I'm assuming everybody's perception was that, oh, when you're given that opportunity, you will say what you want to be or what you want to do. But because of the system that our parents have said, oh, because if you do this, you get this, you make this, life is good. So now, parents have still created standards, even upon you making that decision.
Yeah, yeah.
They need to say, choose between this, or that. If it's not that, then it's not my money, it's your own money. So now, that's why you find someone is making such a decision, say, oh, I want to live my own life, after they have completed what they want to like give the parents. Say, okay, you know what? I'll do this because you want me to do this, but when I'm done, it's that. So I feel the overall thing to blame, it's not only the system, but because our parents don't also want to see things from a different picture. I know they are old, they see less as compared to we do.
What are they?
So you, I think you brought up a statement to say the young ones see more, right? Yes. Yes. And I will not deny the fact that parents want the best for us. I just feel if parents could also offer a listening ear,
Yeah.
say, okay, how will this benefit you? Not the moment I say I want to do this, they immediately say no. They don't want to listen to what your reasons are, how it's going to benefit us.
Yeah.
So I feel if parents want to also offer a listening ear to say, okay, let me listen to what you want to do. How is it going to benefit you? How is it going to benefit you in the coming years?
Yeah.
Because the system has said, okay, if you are a doctor, you're guaranteed for life. Yes. So then they see it as, in the years to come, where will you be? Yeah.
So,
I think it was him.
but the question, so since we're talking about the system, I'd like to, how is your system, how is like your environment or how you guys are brought up or something like that? How are you? Because I think most of the parts of, if we say people are like outside Africa, I think it's like most of the creative parts, like other people, like children, they're being encouraged doing creative stuff, and so I think they make it. So I think here the problem is that parents don't really encourage someone to take risks, or like, we just try. Then even if you stumble, you're gonna stumble with someone, because probably they say if I'm gonna study economics, then I reach the point that say I don't want economics. Then that means my parents don't want to go to that. I've wasted money. But how is you guys? How is your system? How do you work or operate in a way that I think with most of the people that I've watched that I learned from, there's just really the parents that just in fact like everything that person's going to do, they will support. Even if it's going to turn out negative or positive, they're going to support. So I don't know, how is your system?
I don't think I can compare. I'm sure I cannot compare, because I hardly know this system and I hardly know my system, the Dutch system. What I do know is that when somebody starts schooling for a job, they go into they loan the money for it from the state. So they agree on a loan that they have to pay back when they start working after a couple of years. Okay? So her daughter, for instance, she said, no, I want to finish my study. She's becoming a teacher because I don't want to have this debt. So I have to finish my education. That's what she said. So this is why I know. So it's not the parents that go into debt, which is also possible. I know that it could be like a university where the parents contribute, but it's not a need. Students can pay for their own college by working and getting this loan from the state. It is in their name. It's not in the parents' name. But if they want to have an easy university life for those 6 years, then the parents contribute and the student does not have to work in a bar late at night, being a taxi driver, whatever. So this is what I do know. Do we need a break?
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
Do you guys encourage someone to pursue their gifts and talents?
What can you say?
Do you encourage let's say someone, like a child, or a person to pursue their gifts and talents?
I do not understand. Can you say it a little bit slower?
Do you encourage, let's say, you encourage someone
Yeah.
who's got like a talent they want to pursue? Like let's say football. Someone really loves football.
Who has a talent?
Yeah, a
Yeah,
talent.
yeah.
So do you guys encourage that? Like, okay, pursue that?
Who's you guys?
From Holland.
From Holland.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay,
of
like
course.
culture.
Of course. Because, but only if that person, that football player, is loving what he does.
Yeah, if they love what they do.
Yeah.
You encourage that.
Yes.
So if they say I don't want to go to school and pursue football, are you going to encourage that?
I don't know.
Like how's the culture?
The well, people we have to go to school. There's an obligation. There's a have to. The state makes us to go to school. If we step out before the year of 18, the parents have to. Somebody from the state comes at your house. And they fine the parents. So the parents yeah. And of course, you can imagine what will happen with the 17 or 16-year-old that has to go to school. Yes, it's very strict. The school reports to the state, and so that is a very sick system, to my belief.
So it's school up to university or up to
till 18. The age of 18, or if you get a diploma of the lowest, I would say.
Like
I hate that word.
You like finish high school.
Yes, let's say.
You can do what you want.
Huh?
You can do what you want if you finish.
Yeah, but you have to have a diploma.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So some people go from. What's that, class 12 or what's it called? Somebody mentioned it?
Yes.
Yeah, and then they go into a 1-year education for a profession. Then they're free.
Yes, 2 years. 4 years. 4 years gets long. People get tired.
Yes.
By the moment you're finishing university, then your brain is stressed out. You're finished. but yeah, I think it's one. As much as education is important, me what I believe, as much as that person loves what he or she is doing, I think they have the authority to do what they want at certain age, unless if it fails, because most of the people, let's say, who have made it in life, you find that they've dropped out of school. Like when Mark Zuckerberg and other people, they've dropped out, but they made it.
Dropped out from Harvard.
From Harvard. From Harvard. But and the ones who are getting the same gadgets for using us who are going to school. So how's now the system going to work? If Mark Zuckerberg or Steve Jobs wouldn't have be given that opportunity to drop out of just the first of the society, you go to school. I don't know if Apple would have been here. So I think he stumbled into that. He went for his dream. And we're using Apple. And I think one of the millionaires. Yeah.
It's very funny what you say. But then, you also need to look at the quality of education.
Yes.
You can't compare someone who dropped out of Harvard and you who just dropped out of a university that is not even known. Harvard is standard, like they're just there.
It's a name.
So it's, well, maybe a name, but
it's a name.
Know that it's, but then also, people just drop out not because they know what they want to do. I know people who've dropped out and they're still trying to figure out what to do. So why are you dropping out? Are you going to make it when you drop out? Most of the people who made it are those who've not had people to fund their school because they didn't have a choice, so they had to open up their minds, and now they're doing big things. So even as you want to drop out, school is important.
Yeah.
But is it a necessity? I don't know. But it's important anyway, just for you to know a few things. If you want to drop out of university, well and good, but you should know if I drop out, is this going to be worth it? Knowing that there are people who are counting on you. There's your family that you're going to have to feed. And things are not like in Holland here. I think there are only 2 universities that give you loans, you go, and the rest you have to pay for yourself. So I think it's
just a quick one. I think, what I believe, we're on a journey. We don't know. God has set everything. Like, He knows the future. I think the Bible says He knows the future. I know the plans I have for you. So I think if you're gonna drop out, I feel whatever you're gonna do, it's like to draw you closer to what you're aiming for, or it will take you far, basically that. So I've got a theory which I always follow. It's like I do what I love. It's either I try. It's either if I lose, then I lose, or if it works out, it works out. But the fact that I tried, I think it's, for me it works. If I'm going to start playing soccer, I drop out of school. If I don't reach wherever I'm playing to Barcelona, at least I've tried. I've known. But if I won't try, drop out of school. If I just stick in school, that means I'm not gonna know. I don't know what's gonna happen because it's a journey. Some of the things that just happen. We're given one shot. If I take that shot to happen, but if I don't take that shot, I don't know what's gonna happen.
True. Okay, one more.
So I feel like the whole aspect of following your dreams, and to some extent is, in as much as it says for the truth, shouldn't neglect reality. Like, let's be honest with ourselves. The conditions for sort of living in Zambia are totally different from the outside world. And the biggest problem is to sort of adopt those ways of life and then bring them here. And then now we've got a thing of where, not disrespecting your body, sort of start saying we blame our parents for setting this course for us. It's just the environment that we're in. It's sort of, I don't know how the standards of life is, but from what we've seen, they're sort of better than what we have. If it was as close to that, honestly speaking, I love football. I'd have been a football player. It's a no-brainer. I would have gone for it. But I looked at the conditions. It's pretty hard. In as much as you want to go for your dreams, there are some people who get lucky. Like, it's just hit it bullseye, you get lucky. Your life changes. We all know somebody here. Is there playing all over the world? Yeah. Which, in as much as we're searching for the truth, we have to hold on to reality. Yeah, because it's crazy. Conditions here are crazy. The music industry is wild. Yeah, but we have to see. Like, honestly, I'm a big believer of education, because I'm like, in as much as I want to follow my dreams, I need to hold on to something. So always I would have the energy to run at times. When I sit in an office and just work. In as much as I want to follow my dreams, education is important. I'm like, okay, education first, because I know I'll have something to fall back to when my dreams succeed. And try something else. Yeah.
But what if the system will change? And I mean, really change. What if the world decides to burn all money? How would you move in life when money was not here? And it's a real question, because it is a real possibility. I see you. Hold on. So what if, just imagine a world where we are living in equality, where the environment is being taken care of, where we love animals as we love people. We take care of each other, we share. Just imagine the possibility of that, where you can be in the now.
You would obviously adapt to it.
What?
You'd obviously adapt to the current situation.
Exactly, but we can also create something that is not here because I know we can move through walls. I know it. I know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So if you hold things possible, you know, if you just what I just mentioned, if you hold that as a possibility of where we are going with the whole world, nobody excluded. Everybody's welcome to that world. In church they call it paradise, right? Yeah. It was where God created human, right? So what if that paradise returns? God will not allow money. No way. Because it will be an abundant world. Flowers will grow the way they are supposed to. Avocados will grow, mango will grow. In Holland, some vegetables will grow. We will come with our vegetables, whatever it is, salad, probably, and ask you for your avocado. Do you want to trade? Sure. Why is this money, you know? I believe and I know that we are all here with a certain gift. Football playing is something to train the body and to feel good. I'm not talking about gifts like that. I'm talking about gifts like walking through the wall. Gifts like that, magic. No, I don't like this one. So, but just imagine, because that means if paradise will arrive, does that mean that we have to get up early in the morning, have a job?
No.
No.
Soft life.
Huh?
Soft life.
So total different life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We call it soft life. Like
Soft
everything
life.
is just nice.
Yeah.
Everything is just nice. No stress-free, simple.
And maybe somebody's knocking at your door who wants something from you, and you say no.
No, you just give them.
Huh?
Come in.
Just give them what? Give them.
You let them get it for free.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's really good to hold that in the back of your mind, that everything that you are doing now, that you believe and that you are told that that is the purpose of life, that what happens then with the paradise and, you know, what you are told in this building, actually. So we have to be aware that that actually will happen, because it will happen. Hopefully sooner than later. Yeah. Yeah, you also had a question. Is it still there?
There's this individual I've been following on YouTube since I also at some point last year, towards the end of last year, wanted to find out what the system is, like why we do what we do now.
Yeah, yeah.
And I decided to watch his content for a few months, and then he posted a documentary on the system. He used different phrases to depict what's going on and how people tend to follow or chase after something that was set by this hierarchy, this pyramid.
Yeah.
Yeah, of someone sitting at the top, and how people have lost their sense of self. Yeah. So he was explaining that no, all this is all just for the gain of money at the end of the day. The things we think are real are not. Like for example, he mentioned something in lines of the feds and saying that no, it's not something that's under the US government, but it's something that's private owned, and the people that are making the thing that we are chasing after are not doing it for, or they portray themselves as people who are doing it for the people, but in turn they're doing it for themselves. Yeah, and what else did he mention? He said that we should change our focus, because for him, he realized at a very young age that school was not for him, and he knew he had something to bring into the world and not to learn. So he dropped out of high school, I think in 11th grade or 10th grade, I can't remember.
Yeah.
And decided to pursue his own thing, chasing after, following what he took as truth.
Yes.
Yeah, and he thrived at a very young age. I think at the end of the day, he did it for the money, but the money was, because he said that at a certain level of wealth, you start to live above the system of his Iman Gaji. Iman Gaji, a Russian guy. So he regularly posts videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
And he shares his journey, and he even started an education company on how he can let people at least live from a firmer, at least loosen the grasp of the system of their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, through what he's done throughout his life and just what he's learned along the journey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the most part, that's what I can remember, but if anything comes up, I don't.
Yeah, maybe you can write down his name and give it to me, so I can look into it too. Thank you. Yeah, but do we need a break? Because then this is the moment, or can we continue? Anybody? A break would be nice. Okay, let's do it for like 10 minutes. Okay, 5-10 minutes. Okay, good.
So,
Yeah. Where are we?
Yeah, so I didn't want to forget, so I just had to think. So, I think during the discussion, we're talking about sort of, is it following your dream? Yeah. Where I think you brought up a good point to say you should always remember reality. Where are you at that particular position before you pursue that dream? It made sense, which was very true. I mean, having something to lean on when you're like, you are exhausted. But when I was thinking through, I realized this. Anything is possible. Literally anything. Like anything is possible. The thing that you have to be aware about, you have to be cautious about your environment. The problem that we have is that I feel everything goes back to society again. Society has created this sort of norm to say, because I am maybe in a certain environment that is at a lower level as compared to someone there, I can't pursue something because I am there. So what I mean by be cautious about your environment, think of ways to say, oh, how can I make it out of this environment? Because you can't say, how can I make it to that environment that is higher if you don't know how you make it out of this environment that's low. So that's why at the end of the day, anything is possible. The same dreams that you set yourself, you say, okay, how can I push myself to leave this environment and be in that, maybe, I don't know if I can say upper class environment, somewhere there. Yeah. So it's just your thought process again.
You know how I say it? I believe life takes care of me. So if life takes care of me, I have everything. If life does not take care of me, something else is limiting me. And that is causing, for instance, illness or scarcity or confusion or, things that take me away from my path. So there's no upper class It is just life taking care of you. Even in Africa. And you know this. Yesterday we drove from Mafue to here, and on the way we saw a child rubbing this. And I asked the driver, is he telling you he's hungry? And the driver said yes. And I didn't know, but I asked the driver, if you come across a child or anybody who's doing this, please stop. You know, so life can take care of that person. Because we care for one another. That is the world that we have to create, because there's no other way. Because otherwise there's more and more exclusion, more and more separation, more and more war, more and more trouble, more and more illness. We do not consent. That is not what we are here for. So, and there's a lot of people knowing this, really. I'm really not the only one. There's a lot of people knowing this and also working their ass off to create behind the scenes a new reality. I mean, this is what I do in the scenes, but I do a lot away from what you can see. So, and also, what I really would like to share is that when you make up things from the mind, like becoming this whatever job or whatever goal you set, or how much money you want to make, or whatever you make up with the mind, it is not in service to life. It is in service to the system, because the system wants you to think in the future and to stay away from the now. While in the now, you can, for instance, if you ask life, okay, so, okay, show me what my next step is, for instance. Show it to me. And then it will show up. It will come in your sight. It's really that easy. But only if you do it from emotions, only if you do it from your feeling. As soon as you do it from your brain, okay, I need to know. You know, I'm so confused, show it to me. No, that's from the brain. So then it won't show. But if you ask, okay, I'm ready, you know, show it to me. Feel what happens when I say this? My body responds. It's really strange, but it's true. So you just have to ask, what is the next step? Show it to me. Show my path. And every person on this planet will come to the point that he no longer wants to serve his parents. So sooner or later you will all get there. Because serving your parents does not make you happy. And it will cost so much energy that it then will make you, disempower you, will confuse you, will make you everything that you don't want to be. So I didn't hear a specific question on what you said, but I did respond. Did you have a specific question as well?
No, it wasn't necessarily a question. I was maybe just sort of, I don't know if I could say, in addition to what he talked about, saying we should, before we dream of what we want to do, we should also be aware of our environment, where we are at that particular moment. Then you brought up a good point to say there is no upper class or lower class, which I think sort of made sense to what I had in my mind to say. Anything is possible. It's just sort of how you plan to achieve that dream and how you see things, say, okay, how do I go about this? It's what you just currently have in that particular moment on how you want to achieve that particular objective. You may not have enough resources, but how can you make the most out of the resources that you have in order to achieve that particular dream that you seek to? Yeah.
Well, you could live life that way, but is there anything that you would like to say about this? Because you are in that change of what you made up as a profession and how you deal with that now.
I'm a little bit blank.
Blanco.
Yeah.
Nice. New start. Everything erased. Yeah. Okay, well, if it comes...
If it's coming, I'm...
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was introduced yesterday here as being a coach and a trainer and you know, you were there, most of you maybe. And but that's no longer my job. That's not what I do. So I said goodbye to everything that I learned to just follow life. And I was asked to come, how many times? 5 times maybe? And every time I felt, no, not now, not now, not now. And then suddenly there came that point, okay, I need to go to Zambia. I just knew it from the inside. And that is a bit different energy. That is a creation from emotions. That is from my inner knowing, you know, okay, now's the time, now I can come. So I was waiting for that moment and not planning it from the mind, which also could have been possible if it wasn't for me. And then I would not have been here on the right time. You might not have been here, you know, things like that. Or she would have not have been ready to come along, and I asked her to come along. Things like that. But when you let life lead you the way, then it will all come together. You will meet the spouse where you are so comfortable with, that you want to stay with, that you can grow with together, who empowers you and you empower that person. But if you make up from the mind, like, oh, that person I really like, or that person is very attractive, you know, if that's a make-up from the mind about your spouse, then it won't take a lifetime to stay. Because then it's a made-up thing. So that's the difference that you know inside, and where you can look at, like, okay, so this is my behavior, this is the choices that I can make, besides what my parents ask me to do, or whoever. And this is the space that I have to be free in, to discover. That's up to you. And that's different for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I think I would like, let me say 5 questions, but they're all in line with one thing. So I think it's just kind of off topic. I would want you to tell us, since you are a teacher, a trainee, and like, what are the things that you're most grateful, and what are the things that you appreciate in your journey with reaching at this point, and what advice would you have been given if you were younger, reaching this point, that you really would have done that, and what advice can you give this generation, the do's and don'ts of what to do and not what to do, in terms of how life is. Kind of like, just walk us through your process of how you've managed to be such or like a trainer who like goes to other countries, like family, how did your family take it if you wanted to, what you wanted to do? Okay, I want to be a trainer and I want to be a teacher. How was the approach and you reaching this far that you kind of, I don't know if this is what you imagined when you were younger. I wanted to be like this.
Yeah.
Like how's it in the journey?
I think it's a great question. I will definitely answer, but maybe not now. Okay, so I saw you respond to what I said, correct? Did you have a question about the topic I was on?
Yeah.
So let's do that first.
So
Yeah.
basically, I was trying to ask, like, okay, what really matters? Like, is it my happiness as a personal? Like, do I need to make myself happy first, or what really like makes me happy? Like, what can make me? Because you talked about like the present, like feeling this energy, like where you face, like you can't make your parents happy, and that's true. Because you can't make it everyone happy, and that's true. But what intentions, like what steps do you really need to take? Like just to enjoy like the present, just feel you and do like where you say like let life lead you.
So I never had the focus on becoming happy. Never had it. Because I was born happy. I don't know about you, but if I look in the baby's eyes, so I cannot become happier than this newborn. So this is where you see the system doing its job of making that beautiful newborn baby becoming unhappy and disempowered. So there's, that's what I see. So I decided, okay, so I'm not living, I'm not here to become happy because I already was happy. So, but what I am here for, and that's actually also my question, what do you think you are here for? I mean, don't make it up, but if you look at humanity, why are we here all together in this ship called Earth? Because it's a ship, we're in a universe, so we're on a big spaceship. There's no other possibility because we have the universe all around us, so we must be in space. So why are we here? And where do we come from? Those are very interesting questions. Is there anybody who wants to say something about this? You don't know? No.
But it's a thing I'm thinking about. Can you ever really reach at such a point of where you sort of know why you're here? Because the fact that we're human beings and we evolve every day, I'm enjoying today's moment. Tomorrow's moment might be different, so it alters what happens next. I don't know if it's making sense.
If what I like, all we have is now, but the now creates the next.
So is it alright if I say, let me leave today's purpose? Today's purpose is different from tomorrow's purpose.
Oh, that could very well be.
So,
Yeah. Now I come back to your questions. Because so if you start looking for your purpose, it comes from the mind. Because the mind wants to know. The mind wants to know if you do good today. And it's the task of the mind to actually prevent you from moving outside a certain made up pyramid. This pyramid. So the mind wants you to stay in here, in this prison. You know, that's why the mind starts to create fear. The mind starts to make up things. It's not true, but it makes it up to keep you in here. You know, I cannot speak up to my parents, like I cannot say to my dad, you know, I'm now in equality to you, and see what happens. If I had followed my mind, I would never have spoken up. Okay? When you are walking your path, you know it because life takes care of you. It is really true. If life, and it's not about results in money, because results in money is not life.
Yeah, that's true.
That's not life, that's the pyramid, that's the system. So those are two different energies. So this system wants you to get stuck in the mind and limit your behavior to this. That's the system. But life is like the river. Life moves, life flows, life shows. You know, it's like walking through the walls. It is like freeing your mind, what it's supposed to be, and just pay good attention of what shows up. That's life. That is being the flower among all flowers and being as beautiful as you can be. That's life. Without trying to be the best flower. Because we cannot be the best flower. It's impossible. We can only be together. We can be one beautiful flower. With all sorts of flowers. That's the only way life shows up. But yeah, this system wants you to get stuck. So if you ask that wonderful question, maybe you can repeat the tips, the do's and the don'ts you asked, but also if I would have given myself advice as a younger person to myself, because that makes it easier for me. Right? Any other additive?
How did you deal with friends and families?
Oh yeah.
Creating up your profession.
I didn't.
What advice or let's say 5 advice that you give this generation?
Yeah.
What to do and not what to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think we answer that for now. It's like you just walk into the journey.
Yeah.
Just being as a profession.
Okay, I wrote some things down. The most important thing for me is to not follow my mind, but to follow my inner knowing, my inner truth. Live that without a compromise. What I know from the inside. So that's one. Other advice I would give myself is look at every situation with new eyes. Because if you come from the mind, you can only see this wall where you cannot walk through. But if I decide to bring new eyes and come from nothingness, I can see anything that shows up. And I can give attention to what life shows me. So that's new eyes. A really important thing is there's only now. All we have is now. All we have is now. So whenever I am in the past, you know, with my childhood or how people behaved or my anger towards certain people, then I'm not in the now. That's withholding me from the now. So knowing everybody did their best keeps me in the now. It's just a smart thing I made up that keeps me in the now. Because I don't have to deal with all the other people. I only have to take care of myself in this. So all I have is now. And when I'm angry or whatever emotion shows up, as soon as I remember all I have is now, then these thoughts disappear about that person or that situation, and I can just be myself right here, right now. Okay? So I am a very emotional person. I can cry and feel instantly. Of course, the system made me believe I was not okay. Of course. Of course, other people told me like, oh, you cry a lot, but I didn't care. I came up to a certain point where I did not care about what they said. Because I know that when I cry, I just have to cry. Not because I'm sad, because I'm touched, you know, because I'm an emotional person. And emotion also tells me that I'm alive. So I like emotions. And then I made this change of being a student of life into a creator of life. Not just my life, but really be honest and truthful and create life, support life and create it. Well, you were able to feel that, what it feels like, life. So that are the most important things for me. That was the structure where I stayed in. I really wanted to live that. And of course, I started to see that when I was not true to myself, the prices I pay for that. You know, I've been ill, I've been not able to work, I have had no food, you know, things like that. That is just a reason to look at myself and change, make a new choice. Something has to move inside, so the outside will move as well. We have to do the work inside, so the reflection of the outside will show us who we really are. Do you understand? If I'm greedy to money, I will I will not trust people, because I will believe that they will take my money. You understand? That's how it works. So then this thought of fear that people will do that creates that I get excluded from the people that I love. See, things like that. It is so when you are willing to really look at who you are, why you are here, and how things are created. It comes from inside to outside. That's how it works. So how I dealt with the family, for instance. Nowadays, my mom and my dad are no longer here, so I don't have to take care of them anymore. And also my friends, I told, I have to go onto a journey to discover life. And I have to do it. But never forget how much I love you. Do not ever forget that. And we will meet again. We will meet again. But I have to do this. And if needed, I'll be there. Just call me. I'm most grateful for feeling that I'm alive. And to create magic on this planet, on this big ship. Whatever that looks like. It happens every day. Yeah.
Like advice, what you can advise this generation of what to do and not what to do from your experience?
The best advice I can give you is to stay truthful to yourself. Sooner or later. Whatever that means, even. Yeah. I think that the rest, the other things are advice I gave, like. Yeah. But the thinking, you cannot think your way into freedom. Freedom is in the now. Really. Yeah. But that's my conclusion to life. Yeah. Do you have a question?
You are born happy, right?
Yes.
So, do you search for happiness?
Do I what?
Search for happiness?
No.
You don't?
No.
Just believe that you are happy.
No, it is in the now, there's no goal.
In the now, there's no goal.
No, if you live in the now, there's all we have is now. So a goal takes you away from the now. It makes you longing to something that is not in the now. So that makes you not in the now.
So the now is all about experience. Right?
The now is where, it's the only moment where life happens. The rest is made up.
How do you define that? So
I don't.
You don't?
No.
So would I be wrong if I were to put it in the sense if you experience or feel the now?
Yeah.
That's your success.
That is?
That's your success. And that be like your definition of success.
I don't
You're
have
in the now.
My success. I don't look at it like that. I don't look at it like I have no thrive to be successful. The only thrive I have is to be honest to myself. Because when I'm honest to myself, I can be an inspiration to others, for instance. Because what I shared today is not a format or is not from a book, or it is really my investigation of life. So I'm talking about my own experience. So there's no successful. I have nothing to achieve.
So on the personal level, because I believe that success is very subjective.
Yeah.
The sense of what I define to be successful is totally different from what you define to be successful.
Yes.
And that's on the part of leaning towards. Yeah. So it's just done the same, but nothing to achieve from it.
Except to be true to yourself. The more you get into the now, maybe you can say something, but the more you start to live in the now, the easier it gets. Life gets more easy when you're there. when you're in the now. Because when you're not in the now, just imagine you are in the future or in the past. So in the past, not many nice things happened because we remember the emotions. So we also remember the difficult parts. That's the past. And we have some nice memories with a photo or whatever. Then we have the future. That's also something that we don't have. So living in the past and the future is not very inspiring. It's not the feeling type. You can only feel and live life in the now.
And then, so on the aspect of truth, so like one of the things I've personally struggled with is how to be honest with myself. Because they say the truth is sort of scary, and this is like on a personal level. I'm scared to be honest with myself because then it's like I'll uncover stuff that I've buried. I think I'm not having an answer to it because talked about the past and the present. So it's like the more, like how did you get comfortable being honest with yourself? So it's like you focus on the now, I guess.
Yes. And sometimes, yeah. Well, you're quick. Yeah. That's the answer.
Yeah, now it's your head quiet.
Yeah.
Quiet. Because you think in the future, your mind is doing everything. Because the future is always something else. You can think of the future, how it goes.
It's
It
not
always
moves. It always goes differently than what you made up.
So
It's a waste of energy.
waste of energy to think of the future.
Yeah.
Because you can't change it.
No, it will happen. Things will happen. Life will show you, and it will go the way it will go. You cannot. You cannot demand things to happen. Because if you do, then there's somebody else that pays a price. And you pay the price as well if you demand. Because that energy is not life, it's the brain. It will make you ill in the end. If you look at just some numbers, maybe you love them, but if you look at the Netherlands, we have been in this pyramid for a long time. My whole life, it was there. And it became more and more and more and more due to technology and everything that was moving. Nowadays, this is true information. 1 out of 10 young people are ill. 1 out of 4 has a chronic disease. So they cannot digest food, they are stressed, burnt out, they have allergies, a lot of things are wrong with the body. So that is due to the system. So this pyramid creates unhealthy bodies. And of course I know who I'm talking to. I know what happened before in Africa. But I just want you to realize that, I spoke in the beginning about that the white in the Netherlands is not paradise. Not at all. 1 out of 10 grown-ups are using depressant medication because they call themselves, or a doctor calls them depressed, because they don't want to be in life. That is a result from this system. Because they don't live their truth. They're trying to obey. Nobody can live that lifelong and obey. We cannot. We're not supposed to. We're not here to obey. You are here to create life. And you're whole and complete. But if you start believing that you are whole and complete, then you will go inward and searching for your truth. And maybe sometimes you can follow and sometimes you cannot follow until you reach a point where there's no other way than to follow your truth.
I want to ask, overall, what was or what is your inspiration?
What is my?
Your inspiration.
My inspiration. The now. Yeah, because you know why?
Yeah.
Because no, you don't. Because when you are in the now, you are aware of things that happen. So you can see so much more in the now than when you're living or achieving goals. Because then you are thinking like, okay, how, when, what, who, blah, 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 blah. And you are starting to believe that, oh, the neighbor could be my la 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 la. And then you ask for a conversation with that person, and that person says, oh yeah, that's a really good idea. At a certain point you get into something and you look and you see this is totally not right. That is because I lived then from the mind. It was made up by my mind, created. Halfway I say no thank you. Sorry, you made a mistake. So the now is very inspirational to me. I see the plants, I've seen the crops, I found seeds on the floor, on the grass. I just notice, I pay attention to you, I can feel you, I can feel thoughts, we are so much more than a breathing human body. And many of you, also your parents, know. Because African people have been inside very powerful. But then the whites came, and the rest you know. They told you, you are not whole, you are not complete, but you are. I really want you to hear this. It's really important. How can somebody who has nothing to do with you say such a rude thing about you? That's really rude. Nobody can tell you but you. So, if you're still living in a house with your parents, be nice. Let them take care of you. Live life. Sooner or later you will get to a point that you remember you are a creator. Be honest, whatever that means to you. Take care of each other, please. We have to.
Well,
Yeah, I have one more question.
okay,
And then
I
have two more.
Time.
Yeah, okay, two. Oh no. Well, that's because you
Oh,
haven't
my
asked
word.
one. Okay, three.
Yeah.
Who's first?
Oh, for me, it's not really like a question. The thing about it is you look at everything with new eyes, right? At times I feel like I can be very rigid. And then look about stuff, the more like my mind has opened up in the sense that maybe life, it's crazy. I don't usually believe in this, but I feel like life has been leading me to this particular day. Because if I remember very well, last week or the week before, I was writing in my journal where I was telling myself to live more in the moment.
Wow.
And I wrote about 3 pages about that, of why I feel like I've taken stuff for granted, or because I couldn't enjoy that particular moment. Then I met somebody while I was in a particular situation, but then I was thinking more about what will happen tomorrow, less of that moment. So I feel like this sort of has helped me to appreciate life more. And yeah, because time is here, I guess.
Wonderful. Yay, thank you. Beautiful. Yes.
Yeah. So So it's a yeah, it's a question. Since you said in life you get to live life in two ways, you can either be a creator of life or a learner of life, right? So I mean, you've highly emphasized, yeah, if you're living with your parents, be good, obey them. Yeah.
Well, keep them happy.
Yes, keep them
I
happy.
didn't say obey them.
Okay. Yeah. So, is it right to say that under the care of your parents, you can only be a learner of life, and then after when you leave, then you can become a creator of life, or you can become a creator of life even when you're under their care, in their house?
Of course. Of course, but it depends on how life moves you. So don't set it as a goal. All you have is now. So, how old are you?
23.
Okay. So if you were my child, which you are not, but if you were my child, and you would say, being the age of 23, like, hey, I really appreciate all your love and care, but would it be possible for me to make more of my own choices? Just as a question. And you would ask me, I would say, yes, sure. What do you need from me to make your own choices? But that's up to you, if you are going to ask that question. Freedom, sometimes you have to work for it and ask for it to happen. Like I did with my dad. I just had to phrase the statement. It's up to you. But you can only ask it truthfully if you're willing to get no for an answer. When you are afraid of the answer, you will always manipulate the question. So just be bold and brave. Just ask them and let them live their truth. Respect that. If it is a no, you know where you are. You can make a new choice.
Do you think living in the now sort of, I don't want to say encourages, but encourages you to neglect certain things? Because I don't know, it makes, I don't know how to put it nicely.
Just do it boldly.
It's sort of delusional, I think, to only set your eyes on the now. You want, what do you call that? You want, not expand, harvest what you have and what you could create if you just live in the now and decide, I'm living in the now, I'm going to sit here now and just be here now. And doesn't it make you neglect yourself to some degree, or neglect your ability to some degree?
No, because life will give me impulse. So something will show up and I will grab it.
But isn't that you thinking for the future?
No.
Life's going to come at me and do this.
No. There's a big difference, and you can feel the difference. You can feel the difference in energy, the way it feels, if it's a made-up thing, or if life is showing me. So this is the difference. If it's a made-up thing, I'm thinking about it. Like, oh, is that a good idea? Maybe it's not now. Maybe I can do something else. That's thinking. That's not in the now, it's in the thinking. But if it's an impulse, it doesn't make me think, I just do it. So for instance, if you are walking outside, maybe it's not not the best example in Africa, in Lusaka, but if you walk outside in the forest, let us go there, then the impulse could, there's two ways to walk the forest. You can think either by going, okay, if I go straight, then left, and then I get back to the entrance. That's the way of thinking your way through the forest. But what if I would follow my impulse to look at the three options, left, straight, right, and I just noticed that one of those three is calling me. I feel it inside. So I take that option. It's not what you meant, eh? It's something else.
Let's just leave it.
No,
It's fine.
we're here.
We're in the
Now, right now.
Right now.
Anybody else who knows what she's talking about?
So that's what I'm thinking, right? I feel like it's based on the aspect of if you live in the now, then you limit what you're capable of doing.
No, not at all.
So like that.
Is it like that?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not at all.
So you don't limit yourself living for now.
Totally not. It is expanding myself. It is expanding myself because life will ask me. Life will inspire me to do things. From the inside to the outside. While when I live in the future or in the past, making goals, it is something that is coming from outside that I have to live up on, and that is actually not expanding myself. Maybe you look into it yourself without and leave with new eyes. So leave all the possibilities open and just see, okay, today I'm going to practice or whatever you want to call it, to be in the now. Okay, and see how I feel. Do I have energy? Did I have a good time? Did I have a laugh? Did I, And then in the evening you can say, hey, that was life today. Or not. That's up to you. That's your discovery. But if you ask me, I expand in the now.
Thank you, Judith, for coming. And let's see, you have your last word to the group.
Thank you for
Speaking Nyanja.
Sikomo.
Yes. So take care of yourself.
And
Take care of yourself.
yeah.
And thank you for your time, your love, your energy.
Wow, energy.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.